Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Ray and I'm a spiritual development guide. Have you ever heard about the saying, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, but then you win? This video is going to be exactly about this saying and the different trends and the different acceptance levels of society using these amazing words that were expressed by Gandhi. So, stay tuned. So first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win. Let's take this into society, for example. Where's my board? So let's look at this, for example. As we say, ignore, and then laugh, and then fight, and then win. Let's take veganism, for example, or vegetarianism. So in the beginning, because there were very few, about 50 years ago, they were pretty much ignored. It began in the movement at the 60s of the hippies and stuff. Then they went through laughing at them. Why? Because they said, well, you cannot go without eating meat. You have to get your B12, you have to get your iron in some way. Then the media and fighting. Doctor used to say that vegetarian people are not healthy people. Today it's quite the opposite, but there was an argument with the media, with everybody else. Usually that's the way that they're trying to normalize us, because we're trying to express ourselves, be individual, but they're doing it exactly the opposite. And then they won. They won because today more than 12% of the population is vegetarian. In other words, it's socially acceptable. Restaurants now have vegetarian dishes, etc., etc. Let's take another one. Gay rights. So in the beginning it was ignored. 500 years ago there were a lot of gay people, gay, lesbians. In the Bible time there was also this type of activity and stuff. In the beginning they were ignored, but then they were making fun of them until recently, until the last 10-15 years. And then they were fighting them because it's against God's rules and it's not normal and it's an abomination of society and it doesn't make sense. It's against natural order. And then again, gay men and women had a big win. Why? Because now they're socially acceptable. There's no TV show that doesn't respect itself, that doesn't have at least one gay character. They're pretty much all over the media. So again, everything has to go through these different stages. Now, when Gandhi said this expression, he was actually fighting the British people. And he said that you have to persist. In the beginning, they ignore you because you're too small, you don't make enough noise. Then they laugh at you because they think you have absolutely no chance. Then they understand the threat level. And then they begin fighting you. So let's look at other examples. Right now, for example, Breatharians, or what I'm actually training and teaching, we're in the level between the ignore and the laugh, right here. Why? Because a lot of people think that it doesn't make sense. A lot of people are stuck in old belief systems. We're too few, not right now, maybe a few tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands in the world. And we're moving between the ignored into the laughing. Eventually, we will be fought. When people understand what this amazing frequency does to them, the fact that they heal themselves, the fact that they don't need to eat and don't have attachment to food, the fact that they're more connected spiritually, and then we're going to win. But it doesn't mean that the whole population is going to be like that. Just like with the gays and just like with anything else, it just means that we won't be ignored anymore. It will be socially acceptable to have this, like it's socially acceptable to be a vegetarian, for example. So let's take another example. Women's rights. Women didn't have the right to vote. Women in some countries still don't have the right to drive, okay? In Middle Eastern countries, some of them don't have the right to drive, for example. In the 1920s, the women movement was so small and there was no media and there was no way to connect between women and they were completely ignored. And then after the 1920s, everybody made fun of them because they wanted equal rights. Until this day, even I would say, they haven't completely won. And then there comes the time of a fight. Society fought, and especially men. They didn't want women to have rights. And most men, until this day, do believe in some way, consciously or unconsciously, that women are inferior to them. But it is still a win. Because nowadays, there's almost equal rights. And, in the salary, in the way that we treat each other, and everything else like that. Let's look at another example. Alternative medicine. So, in the beginning, they are completely ignored. It was very, very small. And then everybody was making fun. The doctors was like, you know, right now, let's see where alternative medicine is. It's somewhere here. Why? Because we went through ignoring and laughing, and now we're fighting it. Doctors are saying, what? Are you going to go to use kinesiology? Why do you not go to use the acupuncture? Why do you need yoga? Why do you need all these things? But alternative medicine is becoming stronger and stronger. Let's look at another thing, vaccinations. So right now, the vaccinations are in the left. Why are they in the left? They have been ignored. You know, I'm talking about the people that don't vaccinate their kids, that are against it, that understand that there are certain things that happen after you vaccinate your kids, and they see the statistics and they hear the actual stories. So when there was a very small group, nobody talked about it. Everybody pretty much ignored it, allowed it. Now, for example, in my country, Israel, or in the United States, they're beginning to laugh at it and fight it. So we're moving between here and here. We're still not winning because we still don't have the rights to choose, because now they're reinforcing different rules, saying that certain schools in certain states are not going to accept kids that weren't vaccinated, for example. So now society is fighting it because it's not normal, because they don't understand what it is, because people are losing money. And you will see a lot of these things actually have to do with material possession or lowering the frequency of the consciousness and controlling people, in other words. So try to see where this works in your life, okay? Try to see where you were once when you were afraid of being ridiculed, and when you managed to preserve your individuality, how you became a winner. Let's look at government conspiracies, for example. Let's look at stories like 9/11 or like an aliens. When we're talking about aliens right now, it's here. It's in the laughing. Most of the people are still laughing. When there will be enough people and the truth will come out about the fact that aliens do exist amongst us, that some of the technologies that we got came from there, like when all this will come, they will fight it. It will come here. Especially if there will be any sort of appearance. Because people are already begin to understand that they exist, and their consciousness and the global consciousness actually is seeking out a contact. And when that will come, there will be a fight. We're very far away from from winning. And the last thing is government conspiracies. So again, in the beginning we ignored all the people that said that 9/11 is is an inside job, and why, and there's a whole lot of things to understand and explain about this. There's not just one conspiracy, and it's not black or white. It's not all conspiracies are wrong or all conspiracies are right. There's things to understand, and there's a lot of like misleading information as well. But in the beginning, when the group of people that want to be heard are ignored, it's easy. Very small part of the population. But then more people wake up, and then they're trying to make fools out of you. They're trying to say that we don't understand, and they're trying to say it doesn't make sense, and they're trying to mislead because they have control over the media and everything like that. And then comes the fight. And right now we are close to the fight. So we are here, the conspiracy people, I would say, are here and moving towards the fight, which has already begun in some way. And eventually we'll get to the win. So again, Gandhi was right. In the beginning, they ignore you when you're small. And then when you get to a big enough group, they begin laughing at you, and then they're afraid of you because they understand that you're going to bring a big change. And then with consistency and persistency, you eventually win. Try to see where this happens in your life, with your relationships, with your family, with your teachers, with the loved ones, with society itself. And you will see that eventually, if you consistently believe in yourself and in your beliefs, you are going to win, my friend. So, if you enjoyed this video, like it, subscribe to my channel, and my friends, I will see you in my next video. Namaste.